Whenever you hear that music, you know what it is. Village Square Live, the podcast that takes you back to where you belong. It's your host, Steve Robinson, along with Big K. Hope you're feeling good. Welcome back to our second show. We appreciate the feedback that we got for the very first inaugural podcast, and we're going to take what you gave us and we're going to build. We're going to stack each brick by brick. We're going to make this podcast something that both you're proud of and whoever you pass it on to proud of. So once again, welcome and welcome all. And thank you, Kathleen Higgins, Carlos Alcantara, Myra Manrique, and whoever else I left out from the first time I gave you a shout out on the first inaugural episode. I recently was at the show, the remake of the 1976 classic Sparkle. And mind you, I'm old enough to remember that movie and the new one that just came out not too long ago featuring Jordan Sparks, Tika Sumpter, Mike Epps, Omari Hardwick, Derek Luke, and that's right, the Nigerian actress Carmen Ejogo. You may know her from such films as Metro, starring Eddie Murphy, What's the Worst That Can Happen, where she played opposite Martin Lawrence. She also played the legendary civil rights figure Coretta Scott King in the HBO movie March with her husband. She married an African American, Big K. His name is Jeffrey Wright. He's an accomplished actor. He played Felix Leiter in Casino Royale opposite the Australian guy, Daniel Craig, the most recent James Bond edition that's a couple years ago came out, Casino Royale. Anyway, Carmen Ejogo played one of the leads, if not the second lead, what we like to call 1A or 1B. She played a character by the name of Sister Williams, which is loosely based on the original Sister Williams for the 1976 movie Sparkle. Now, mind you, the directors and producers took great liberties and changed around the script. Now, we won't comment on that. I enjoyed it nonetheless. But what we like to do here tonight is talk about Black Hollywood and Nollywood. Since we're talking about Carmen Ejogo and her playing in what's essentially a Black American genre film, and her with a Nigerian background. Her father is a born and bred Nigerian. Carmen was born in London, I do believe. Nollywood is very popular, not just with Nigerians, but with black folks in the diaspora too. Excuse me. Whether you be from Haiti or Ghana. As a matter of fact, Big K, whenever I'm traveling out and about and I go into some of the Haitian stores, they offer to the public a lot of the Nollywood videos and DVDs. They're there. You can rent them, take them home. They're quite popular right here in the United States.
Let me give you an interesting trivia.
Yes.
There was a time I was in Louisville, Kentucky. The guy who drove me from the airport is an Asian. And he was the guy who was telling me about all the Nollywood movies. Basically, he introduced me to Nollywood in Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
Somebody from Haiti.
Yes, exactly, because the Haitians love the Nigerian films. They love the Ghanaian actors. If you happen to be from Ghana and listening to this podcast, we will not leave you out. By the way, you're listening to Village Square Live, who we help to encapsulate everyone, not just Nigerians, but if you're from all parts of West Africa, East Africa, South Africa, the Caribbean, Southeast Asia, no matter where you are, you're always a star with Village Square Live. Genevieve Enaji. I was introduced to her by a Haitian as well, because I had no clue as to who she was. Very accomplished actress in Nollywood. She's the queen of Nollywood, as I understand. So, but what I'd like to know, and what the public would like to know, the public who actually knows, is when will there ever be a convergence, if you will, of Black Hollywood and Nollywood? I mean, I've seen, for example, Sophie Okonedo play in Hotel Rwanda opposite Don Cheadle. See, that's a pairing. And now she has no Nollywood history, though. I've never seen a DVD with her in it, or any one of the Nollywood films with her being a lead actress or supporting actress or garnering a supporting role or anything like that. But she played opposite him. So that's an example of a Nigerian actress and a African American actor being the leads in a major film. And Hotel Rwanda did quite well at the box office several years back. There's also the gentleman who was in Salt. He was also in Amistad. He's a Nigerian actor. What is his name again, Big K?
Oh.
The other gentleman we were just talking about a minute ago.
Oh, Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Well, yes, him. He was in Salt. He played an FBI agent. Not an FBI. He played CIA in Salt.
He was in 2012 as well.
Yes, he was
actually
in
played the
2012.
lead role there. Yeah.
Yes, he was. He was also in this movie called Talk to Me, about the Dewey Hughes story about Radio 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in that. He's been in so many things. He's played with opposite Denzel Washington in Inside Man, American Gangster. His IMDb page is quite lengthy. So you said he's actually in Nigeria on set right now, filming a film about Biafra, right?
Yes, he's shooting a movie called Yellows. I can't remember the exact name again, but it's about Biafran War.
Okay. All right. Well, see, he's a part of this whole mystique, or if you will, this whole theme we talk about, the Nigerian actor, the unsung Nigerian actor. Now, he's quite well known, so I wouldn't call him unsung, but his name, he's getting out there, he's getting bigger and bigger roles. He actually played opposite LL Cool J in a film one year. I forget what it was called, but he played a criminal. He played in Four Brothers as well, opposite Mark Wahlberg. He's quite the accomplished actor. But what I'd like to see is people like Genevieve Inaji, if you will, some American director, somebody in Black Hollywood, because yes, there is a Black Hollywood, which is composed of a community composed of black directors and black actors and black agents and black producers and all sorts of things. It's a very sophisticated grouping. I'd like to see one of them reach out to her and actually cast her in a film, or do something, get her bigger than she already is. Because right now she's huge. She's the queen of Nollywood, is she not? Yes, I would love to see them do that. I'd like to see Carmen Ejogo get more roles, not just be in films that are black themed, but get out there and be in films that are themes that appeal to the general public, no matter where you are, whether you're in the United States or Europe. I'd like to see Nollywood pushed to the forefront, particularly the good actors and actresses, the ones who really represent the genre. I'd like to see them get a shot at the American viewing audience, not just the American viewing audience, but the Australian, European, and Asian markets as well. And we'd like to see them go above and beyond just the general Nigerian viewership, whether you're in the diaspora or whether you're in Lagos. It doesn't really matter to me. But Carmen Ejogo is pretty good. Sophie Okonedo, Pretty Woman. She's a pretty good, accomplished actress as well. She was in a film with Queen Latifah and Alicia Keys. They came out a couple years ago about three sisters who were living down south. I forget the title of it. These titles seem to escape me because so many films come out in a year and you can't really get to all of them. But they're there. Let's give you a little history since you're listening to our podcast. By the way, this is Village Square Live. Welcome back to our second show. I hope you enjoyed the first podcast, inaugural one. Hope you're enjoying this one. My history, Big K, of Nigeria in film, whether it be shooting on location, having a director over there shooting, or Nigerians themselves shooting films. My history goes back to when I was a little kid, and my mother had me right against the screen. We had a floor model TV, one of the old ones, and I saw Sidney Poitier dressed in Yoruba gear, and he was playing opposite Eartha Kitt in a movie called Mark of the Hawk. This is from the late 50s. And they had to recently colorize that and re-release it. And that was my first really exposure to Nigeria on film. Then a little later on, there was a film called Kongi's Harvest, which was shot by the late, great Ossie Davis. Ossie Davis, a black American actor, a legendary Hall of Famer. He was married to Ruby Dee. Also, he was a director. He directed Kongi's Harvest right there in Nigeria in 1971. He directed another film in Nigeria called Countdown at Kusini, and the lead actor was an African American by the name of Greg Morris. You might remember Greg Morris, Big K, from Mission Impossible. There was a Mission Impossible series back in the 1960s that used to be on television right here in the United States. And the black man who was in it, that was Greg Morris.
Okay.
And I just mentioned Ruby Dee being married to the late, great Ozzie Davis. Ruby Dee was actually in Countdown at Cassini. She played the lead actress, African-American woman. But I've seen films that were shot in Africa that involved Black Hollywood. And they were filmed right there on location in Nigeria. I don't know if Nigeria has a film commission, if you will, where you have to pay fees and taxes and whatnot to film on location over there, but they need to step up to the plate.
I'm sure they do, but, like everything else, it's not as organized as it should be.
Right. Well, it's also filmmaking on the ground, on location, is a form of tourism, if you will. And so I was going to say that I've also seen a film called The Comedians, old film from 1967 with George Peppard and Raymond St. Jacques and one of the great actors of our time, of all time, Alec Guinness. It was shot on location in the Benin Republic. It's called Dahomey at the time. It was a film about the dictatorship of Papa Doc Duvalier, who was a dictator in Haiti from 1958 to 1971. Now, the filmmakers were going to shoot it in Haiti on location, but because Dr. Duvalier found out about the subject matter, how it was a film, propaganda anti-him and his regime, well, the filmmakers decided to take it over to Benin, take it over to Dahomey and film it right then and there. There's been other films I've seen, Big K, that have been shot on location in West Africa starring major American actors. For example, 1969. Yes, I'm showing my age. In 1969, there was a film called The Southern Star, starring George Segal. George Segal, look him up, ladies and gentlemen. You know who this is. He's been in the movie business as an actor for half a century. He was in The Southern Star opposite Joni Seka, a Senegalese actress, a well-known Senegalese actor, sorry about that, who is deceased now. Johnny Seka was in also a Black Hollywood film. He was in this film called Uptown Saturday Night with Sidney Poitier and Bill Cosby. Johnny Seka played one of the bodyguards for Harry Belafonte. Don't believe me? Go out and rent Uptown Saturday Night, the DVD. Don't meet me there, beat me there. To the latest DVD rental place, wherever it is, go get it. You'll see what I'm talking about. He was in a film with an American actor. Now, the actor wasn't from Black Hollywood. He was just a regular white actor. But they filmed it on location in Senegal, 1969.
And the name is Ursula Andress?
The Southern Star.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you'll be able to find it nowadays. There was a movie, and this is, again, the convergence of Black Hollywood onto the African scene. A movie shot in 1978 starring Beverly Johnson, the supermodel. She was a supermodel back in the 70s, but she still is fine to this very day. And she's been in a million things. Everybody knows who she is. She played in a film called Ashanti. She was the lead actress opposite British actor Michael Caine. Peter Ustinov was in this film as well. They were shot on location in Ghana. Again, go get it. Go rent the DVD. I won't give the theme away. I won't give away what happened. I just need you to know, the listener of Village Square Live, listener of this second show, that Black Hollywood and Africa has had some interactions in the past. It's not just Will Smith going over to Mozambique to film Ali. No, it didn't begin there. It began a long, long time ago. Big K, I do believe in the future, as Nollywood starts to creep into the mindset of the establishment, the Hollywood establishment out there, as they begin to see more and more of these DVDs show up at some of the corner stores in the Los Angeles area, that they will begin to reach out to some of the Nollywood actors and actresses. I do believe that'll happen.
Yep, I believe that too. Actually, many of the Nollywood movies are now being premiered in the U.S. I was in one in Chicago a few weeks ago where like 1/4 of the audience were African Americans.
Okay.
And they really liked it.
Okay. There's a Pan-African Film Festival that takes place in Los Angeles every year, and one of the major sponsors is Jeanette Dubois, or Dubois, however you want to pronounce it. She played Willona on the series Good Times. Good Times is a 70s sitcom that took place in Chicago. Everybody knows who I'm talking about. She's one of the primary supporters of the Pan-African Film Festival that takes place out there, and they've often showed Nollywood films at the auditorium out there. I forget which auditorium they use. One of the guys who goes to procure the films from Africa, his name is Olo Babu, and what he does is he travels all over Africa, gets the reels, and while they're still in a can, brings them back through customs and brings them back to the United States, and they show them at the Pan-African Film Fest, and people eat them up. And there's lots of dignitaries in the audience, lots of Hollywood celebs and singers, people like Stephanie Mills and, so forth and so on. They're in there and they're watching these films, and they're clamoring for more. And I do believe that the demand for such films will just grow and grow and grow and grow. And especially the Nollywood films, because let's kick some facts, ladies and gentlemen. It is Nollywood on the continent that is the most established film community throughout Africa. Let's not make that mistake. I mean, do not mean to demean anybody else or to, set aside what anybody else is doing, but the bulk of the films coming out of Black Africa come out of Nollywood. That is a fact. And so Joseph Van Vicker, if you're hearing this, listening to us live in Accra, Ghana, do not be offended. We just like to tell the truth. We like to kick the truth and disseminate information and let the people decide what it is that it is.
Van Vicker is part of Nollywood, so you can't dispute it.
Oh, yeah. I have seen him in some Nigerian films.
Oh, yes. There's a lot of convergence between Nigerians and Ghanaians, when it comes to movie now.
Really?
Many Ghanaians are featuring Nigerian movies and vice versa.
All right. I've also seen Joseph Van Vicker in some Haitian films.
And what's even interesting is because of the popularity of Nollywood in Haiti, Jimmy John Lewis?
Yes.
He's been acting in more and more Nollywood movies these days.
Really?
Yep.
I've seen him on several shows on NBC. Oh, man, there was a major show that they canceled a couple years ago on NBC where he was one of the major actors. And he was in a movie opposite a Black American actress and comedian, a woman who won an Oscar. She's from Baltimore. What is her name? Oh, man, I'm seeing her right now.
Yes, about the fat ladies.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember that movie.
Monique. And forgive me, Monique.
That's what actually made, I believe, John Lewis close to Nigeria, because he had to learn to be a Nigerian.
Right.
For that movie, and it's become popular ever since, down there.
Well, he must have had to drink a lot of Star beers to learn how to... Speaking of which, that's a perfect segue. Listen to this music, ladies and gentlemen. Stay with us. Stay with us.
Baby, fire they go. All the boys sit down colo, and they want some porokotom. She come the pion, waka waka baby, baby, corner baby. And I go tell my mama, and I go tell my papa, and I go tell am say, you be waka baby, you be chuku baby, baby sawale, sawale, sawale. Hey, pom pom, iporokotom, ipom pom, iporokotom, ipom pom, iporokotom, ipom pom, iporokotom, akolopa, ipom pom, ajari papa, ukuma baby, achukurege, ipom pom, ashawo, awusha, ashawo, awusha, pom pom, pom pom, and the baby sawale, sawale. I'm plenty, plenty, plenty. Looking for sexy, sexy, sexy. I want some poro tom tom tom. She con de pion 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 pion. Waka waka baby, uru uru baby, kona kona baby. And I go tell my mama, and I go tell my papa, and I go tell am say, you be waka waka baby, you be chuku chuku baby, baby sawale, sawa sawa sawale, sawa sawa sawale. Pom pom, ikorokoton, ikom pom, ikorokoton, ikom pom, ikorokoton, ikom pom, ikorokoton. Pakoloba, 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 ikom pom. Ojari papa, kukumo baby, akukurege, ikom pom. Ashawo, awusha, awusha, ashawo, ashawo, awusha, pom pom. Pom pom. And the baby sawa lele, sawa 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 le.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, no matter where you are, whether you're in your cubicle or your home or your car or wherever, poolside, no matter where you are, you're always a star with Village Square Live, second show. I'm Steve Robinson, Big K, on the board. We were talking about previously the convergence or hopeful convergence of Nollywood and Black Hollywood, not just those two entities, but Black Hollywood and the filmmaking African filmmaking communities of the diaspora and also on the continent as well. And I do say the diaspora simply because Haiti is in the diaspora and Haiti has a burgeoning film community. Lots of Haitian directors, so forth and so on. Haitian actresses, actors. We were just mentioning Jimmy John Louis from Fat Girls with Monique, playing opposite Monique, where he played a Nigerian who happened to like thick women. Now, that's not a stereotype, ladies and gentlemen. Not every Nigerian man likes them thick like that.
A lot of them do, though.
Really. It was just a comedy to get you laughing, because a lot of times a film needs to bring you up. It needs to pep you up, not necessarily bring you down. And we were going to go into Sophie Okonedo for a little bit. Not so much her films, but about who she is and, you know, what she stands for as much as we possibly can on the podcast, if you will. She was born in Britain, just like Carmen Ejogo was born in Britain, just like our actor we were talking about, Chiwetel, right? Ejiofor. Yeah, he was born in Britain as well, because if you know anything about the UK, whether it be Scotland, Ireland, and so forth and so on, there is a diasporan community from Nigeria there that's thick. Lots of people, not just from Nigeria. A lot of Kenyans, a lot of Ghanaians, they live over there as well. A lot of talent comes out of the UK. She has been in the business, Sophie Okonedo, for a long period of time, going back to the early 90s. So she's honed her craft. She's not green by any means, Big K. She's been in the business a long, long time, 20 plus years. And now she's starting to get the recognition that she deserves. She played opposite one of my favorites, Charlize Theron, in Aeon Flux a while back. Good movie based on a MTV cartoon, an adult cartoon, mind you.
Okay, I never seen that.
Yeah, it's a very good movie. And she played, there was a film about the tsunami over in Southeast Asia. You know the one back in 2004, the week before Christmas, that hit Malaysia.
In Thailand,
Sri Lanka. She was in that movie opposite Chiwetel Ejiofor. Did you know that?
No, that's interesting.
Yes, they both played. They were the lead actors, and what they did was they broke that film down into segments. What they wanted to do was see the tsunami from the viewpoint of couples who were vacationing in Thailand. And so they played a couple vacationing in Thailand with the little girl. And it just so happens that the little girl, when the wave hit, then tsunami hit, the little girl went missing. And so you got to see the film. I won't give it away. I never give it away, because in the future, people, Village Square Live, that's right, I said it. We're going to be doing film reviews. We're going to just review films, books, albums. Do they still call them albums, Big K?
Music.
Yeah, music. DVD, showing my age again. We're going to review anything that can be reviewed. We're going to give our opinion. Yes, we will chime in. Although it's a podcast, we know that you can hear it right where you are. From our world to your world, this is Village Square Live. We mentioned the man, the myth, the legend, Chiwetel. If I can ever get his name correct, I'm going to get an Oscar as well, if I can ever get his name.
Ejiofor.
Yeah. He has been in the industry a long time. He started off, I would say back in maybe the 80s or, the late mid-90s, right? Doing films, doing television, doing theater. He
actually started on the stage.
Yeah, theater. Yeah. And theater throughout the UK. And he just blossomed from there. He got a series of breaks. He was one of the directors spotted him, said, "Oh, he's on the up and come up," and lo and behold, they were actually correct. He is a type of actor where you just can't label him as a Nigerian actor or a Nigerian of UK, actor. He is in all kinds of films.
He cuts across all kinds of cultures.
Yes, he does. And he's well received, and people like him, and directors like him, and producers like him because he's appealing, so he goes beyond the skin color, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
So, much respect to him, much props. Keep doing your thing. We will keep going to see your films. No bones about it. These people, you always want to big them up. I hope wherever you are, if you're Nigerian, I hope you're wearing your green and your white.
But you know what saddens me though is, as good as these guys are, their talent doesn't get known until they move out of Nigeria or they are born abroad. You know what I mean?
Right.
There are several of them who are not just in Nigeria but in Africa, in Ghana, and all these places where very good talent, but they are not discovered until they are almost too late. So they end up, in penury and so on.
Right. There was the actor from, I do believe either Cameroon or Gabon who played Patrice Lumumba in an HBO film. And this was back in 2000. This guy has, I don't know where he went. I'm going to get his name in a minute, Big K. But he was very good. Eric Ibwane. And he played Patrice Lumumba. And he did an excellent job. This was like 12 years ago. HBO, which I was in shock at the time, Big K, because how would they do a film of Patrice Lumumba, knowing good and well that the CIA had him killed, but that's just another show. That will do another podcast about that. But anyhow, he did an excellent job. And he's straight out of Africa. No UK involved, no dilution of the United States, nothing like that. This is a serious African actor. Henry Sele. I'm going to go deep on this one. South African actor. He played Shaka Zulu in a film back in the mid-'80s. He was very convincing in this film. This film took 3 years to make, but when they finally made it and they exported it abroad to a United States and a UK viewing audience, it did well. Shaka Zulu. As a matter of fact, he did so well in that film, Big K, that the name Shaka Zulu now amongst a lot of African American comedians, when they go on stage and they call somebody Shaka Zulu, that's who they're referring to. They're referring to that guy who played that character in that 1987 film. People, I challenge you to go and see, if you can, if the movie's still available, go and get it. The name of the movie was actually called Shaka Zulu. It was a mini-series. It was put on by the South African Broadcast Corporation, SABC. And mid-'80s, 86, 87. He played opposite Michael Douglas. Yes, that Michael Douglas in a film called The Ghost in the Darkness. Val Kilmer was in that film too. It was about the early days in the 1890s of the Kenya Railroad. When they were building the railroad across Kenya, the workers were attacked by a lion. By a pride of lions throughout the whole process, where I don't know where they were going from, maybe Nairobi to Lamu, maybe. and the workers were attacked. Railroad workers were attacked by a lion. Well, there were books written on those incidents, and somebody made a film about it called The Ghost in the Darkness. Made it back in the late 90s, I do believe. Henry Saylor was in that. Very good actor. Very good. Too bad he's no longer with us. We praise him in death, but he was a master of his craft. But he was straight out of Africa, not out of the UK, not out of the United States as well. Africa, particularly Nigeria, yes, Ghana, no matter where you are, and some of the Senegalese films, some of the Senegalese actors, I do see some of your DVDs. I do rent them from time to time. Yes, the film communities in these places, Osman Soumbeni, who's a Senegalese director, well famous. Some of your actors and actresses need more exposure, not just on the continent, but off of it. Big K, there's lots and lots of work to be done in the film industry in Africa, particularly with marketing and promotion.
Marketing and promotions and quality as well.
Yeah, and quality as well.
Quality of production.
Right, because some of the Nollywood DVDs now look like I shot them, and I don't know how to run a
yep.
a camera.
It's like somebody just brought out his cell phone camera to shoot a movie, you know.
Now the Nigerian comedies, I have to give them their props. Even though half the time they lose me with the dialogue, those are some of the funniest DVDs you can ever rent. If you're depressed and you're feeling down, go to the African movie store, no matter where you are, New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Miami. Pick up one of the Nigerian Nollywood comedies and throw them in your DVD. And I know you're going to be laughing, especially that the accents.
Yeah.
The exaggerated accents.
Exaggerations. Yeah.
The Nigerian buffoonery. You'll love it. I mean, not that we make fun of that, and not that we like to big up that and prop it up and promote it, but every now and then you can't just be watching serious films all the time. You got to make room for comedy. This is Village Square Live's episode 2. Podcast number 2. Glad you're with us no matter where you are. You're always a star with Village Square Live. We're talking about the convergence, or the hoped for convergence, of Nollywood and Black Hollywood. And not just those two entities, but black filmmaking all over the world. So, Big K, I think
we've just scratched the surface here. We definitely need to do another show on this one.
Yes.
Because right now what we have done is look at the historical, movies, and in the past. We now need to look forward in terms of how can Nollywood and Hollywood come together. I would like to see Tyler Perry produce an African movie. That would be something, Things like that. Go on.
Yeah, and I'd like to see also some of the other directors that Hype Williams, F. Gary Gray, Benny Boom, Spike Lee, Mario Van Peebles. Some of these directors, yes, get your film commission license, get your fees paid, get your permissions, whatever you have to do. Go over to places like Nigeria, Ghana, the Gambia, Tanzania, places that people don't get to often, and do what HBO did when they took Jill Scott over to Botswana, and she did the #1 ladies detective agency that was on HBO. She did an excellent job of that.
That was a fantastic show.
Yes. Too bad it's no longer on. It's too bad, but yes. Give us your feedback, not only on this podcast, but also the subject matter. We'd love to hear from you, no matter where you are. And what we will do, just like we did today, we take what you give us and we give it back to you. We are not above commentary and suggestions. That's not what we do. Anyhow, we're going to sign off, and we're going to wish you much love no matter where you are. And we would hope that you come back for episode 3, podcast number 3. This has been Steve Robinson, as well as Big K. Thanking, as I always do, my creator above and the folks who stood by me when I could not stand by myself. You've enjoyed, I hope, Village Square Live. Come back, won't you?